Hello, and welcome to a presentation on vocalization as a communicating behavior. To begin, we should first discuss what vocalizations are. Vocalizations are a broadband description of verbal signals used by animals to communicate directly with one another. These behaviors can be broken down into specific acts that each characterize a different meaning depending on the species and its situation. Some examples of these vocalizations include barking, crying, cooing, growling, howling, squealing, yelping, wailing, etc., etc. In short, vocalizations can be characterized in many different ways, and each has a unique meaning and context. In the next few slides, we will go in depth into each of these verbal cues and what they may mean. So to start, we will define a couple of different vocalizations in different terms of classes. These classes vary in tone, duration, and meaning depending on the species it's derived from. Barks are abrupt and loud vocalizations that are typically exhibited by canines and mammals to attract attention. Grunts are low-toned, short vocalizations that relay emotional distress, such as discomfort. Growling is an aggressive behavior that involves rumbling, low-toned vocalizations through clenched teeth. Howling is characterized by long vocalizations that have varied meanings depending on the context. Squealing is usually an indication of pain, fear, or anxiety, and are described as long, sharp, and shrill vocalizations, and similarly, yelping also conveys pain, but in a much shorter manner. With a few of these vocalizations classified, let's move on to why animals might use these vocalizations apart from their understood meanings. Animal vocalizations can give insight to other animals about senders' physical state, motivational state, sexual maturity, or to help mediate social interactions. As each of these vocalizations have different meaning, they're almost a form of language that allows a sender to relay information about themselves to whoever is listening. This goes to provide context for social interactions and the state of being for the sender. Vocalizations were likely evolved as a defense mechanism for animals to relay information about predators, because this behavior is prevalent in prey species such as herd animals like bovine and antelopes. Another why question to ask is why vocalizations are persistent. Vocalizations, as we said before, help to mediate social interactions and provide information to other animals. In social species, these vocalizations are key to survival as they allow for information to spread regarding foraging opportunities, ready mating, territorial warnings, or to notify members of a group about hazardous elements. As generations propagate exhibiting these behaviors, they are passed down to offspring as a learned behavior because they increase the fitness within a social environment. This explains why communication persists in animals that are social in some capacity. This ties into the idea that vocalizations are a form of adaptive behavior. Adaptive behaviors are behaviors that allow a species to better survive an environment or evolve as a response to stimulus. These behaviors display integration of current and past experiences within decision making. Animals that vocalize can communicate with other members of their species to relay information that is pertinent to their survival, and this can range from prey relaying sources of danger to predators making their presence known to avoid competition. Additionally, vocalizations can be used as a mating behavior to indicate sexual maturity. Coyotes use vocalizations as a form of relaying information such as location to other pack members, but also relay that information to eavesdropping prey, limiting their hunting success. The reason this is considered an adaptive behavior is that it requires members of a species to recollect the meaning of these calls and act or respond accordingly in that situation. Despite these benefits, vocalization can be problematic as members of their species are not the only ones listening. For instance, loud vocalizations would directly indicate a creature's position that can be taken advantage of by predators. It would be problematic to perform a mating call expecting to find a mate, only to get removed from the food chain. Here we have an example of a study performed on rhesus monkeys in order to display the adaptive value of vocalization. In short, monkeys were provided juice dependent on their selection between two choices. One of these choices represented an audio track of species-specific vocalizations. The selection of either choice presented the monkey with a juice reward where the audio-related choice had a larger portion. Despite recognition of the audio cue, the four sample monkeys quickly gravitated towards the choice that had more reward. Given in this context, vocalizations were described as having a low adaptive value, but would vary wildly in an uncontrolled environment outside of the lab. This became evident as monkeys had begun to associate the audio cues with larger